No show earned its ending more than Better Call Saul, and we're here to prove that. Final seasons of celebrated TV dramas are often sources of anxiety, but there was never any doubt about the final bow of Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul has won a seat not only in the same TV trophy cabinet as predecessor Breaking Bad, but also on the same shelf, which seemed impossible back in 2015. It has raised the bar for the growth of a fictional universe by creating the history for Heisenberg and Fring's meth-fueled crime reign in Albuquerque, as well as the extended epilogue via Gene. Given the dire conditions, which it probably could have done even without such a fantastic series finale, co-creators Peter Gould and Vince Gilligan and others managed to pull off a conclusion that came as near to being ideal as fans could have hoped for. It's safe to assume that no one predicted exactly what happened, or that Jimmy McGill would feel contextually positive at the show's finale, despite the logistics being pretty gloomy. But rather than lamenting his 87-year prison term, let's concentrate on all the reasons Saul Gone from Better Call Saul was a best-case scenario ending. But of course, before any of that, make sure first to hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell for more updates. And watch out for many, many spoilers ahead. Now, let's find out why the Better Call Saul ending is the amazing closure we all deserved. Jimmy and Kim survived, and without devastating injuries. Many fans weren't overly optimistic for both of Better Call Saul's key protagonists to still be breathing, above ground, and free from life-threatening illnesses in a franchise that kills off roughly 90% of the characters who get full debuts. But, let's be honest, the thought of Kim's potential demise was the real worry for us. In our thoughts, we were already formulating stern emails to Gilligan and Gould. Even though they were significantly less wealthy than they had been earlier in their separate lifetimes, Jimmy and Kim were ultimately still both healthy and wise. Which is not to imply that one of them will have a good future. Jimmy will almost certainly spend the remainder of his life in prison for his Heisenberg-related crimes after being sold out by Carol Burnett's Marion in a jaw-dropping moment from the penultimate episode. But the show's writers successfully allayed most concerns about Jimmy's security in jail, as other inmates praised his Saul Goodman-like role as a criminal assistant. Bob Odenkirk even thinks Jimmy will use his prison time wisely by helping others, telling EW, "I think she comes to see him. I think she comes to see him once a year, every other year at the least, and I think he helps a bunch of guys in prison to get out who are innocent, or he helps shorten their sentences. He gets treated really well, and I don't think he gets out early-ish. I don't think he gets out." Odenkirk believes that Kim deserves to be happy, even if it means marrying someone else, and has no problem with her living a life outside of those visits without Jimmy. The fact that Kim is likely to continue settling for her dull life in Florida is perhaps the least encouraging aspect of Better Call Saul's conclusion. But isn't the fact that she is once again entirely at ease in her own skin the most essential thing? Jimmy finally answered for his many crimes. By the end of Breaking Bad, Bryan Cranston's Walter White had admitted to his criminal enterprise, but he plainly passed away without ever making up for his unending selfishness, leaving Jesse to deal with his traumas and regrettable decisions in El Camino and elsewhere. However, Jimmy McGill was destined for a different outcome since he was first and foremost a lawyer. After years of dodging the law, he eventually unburdened and told the court the truth about his involvement with the cartel. And, most importantly, he did it all on his terms. Despite Jimmy's successful legal maneuvers, it became increasingly obvious that something much harsher was in store for him as Saul Gone progressed and featured the incomparably superb Peter Disseth as Bill Okel. Jimmy ultimately adopted honesty as a strategy, primarily to demonstrate to Kim that he was capable of taking responsibility in a way he had never before been. But instead of another character getting the upper hand on Jimmy, he sealed his own doom. Kim's life wasn't ruined yet, and she's back on good terms with Jimmy. Better Call Saul's finale didn't relieve Kim of her confession to Howard's widow Cheryl, who was looking for legal assistance. We did see Kim maintain her brunette hair in the ending shot and add curls, signaling she's far removed from her past, but we did not see her obtain documents. Kim may lose everything to Cheryl, but she is no longer disturbed by the dishonest activities she and Jimmy committed that led to Howard's death. This knowledge is more important than her finances or legal standing. The world needs a calm Kim, and charity work is a plus. Contrary to the perception of many Better Call Saul fans, Jimmy and Kim's bonds were not fully severed by their failed marriage. Despite the chance that they'll never be close again, they discovered common ground by smoking together. Jimmy got one last big win in. Jimmy McGill was able to weasel into his predetermined fate, similar to how Breaking Bad's Walter White won by killing his adversaries and dying among lab equipment. Regarding his priorities, yes, Jimmy didn't want Saul Goodman's lesser sentence. To risk his future by admitting to Kim and showing her he could go back to the guy she fell in love with, he made ethical but not legal movements and half-conned others into persuading her to go to Albuquerque from Florida. Saul had pulled off some ridiculous plots in the past, so his final success was a pleasant surprise. Even if the goal wasn't to bring Kim back romantically, dating that doofus in Florida is easier, he still gained her friendship and empathy, which is the best we could have asked for. Even if Vince Gilligan never returns, we just want to know they'll laugh again. If you don't like that Jimmy got what he wanted, take comfort in the fact that he'll never forget being detained while filthy and hiding in garbage. Betsy Brant's Marie delivered the most emotional Breaking Bad cameo. Even with all the Breaking Bad characters who appeared in Better Call Saul before, like Fring, Hector, Gale, and Walt, I must admit that I didn't expect any other franchise veterans outside Bryan Cranston to appear in the finale, and I definitely didn't expect anything besides flashbacks. So, it came as a black and white shock to the senses when the episode showed Betsy Brant's Marie Schrader in the courts for Saul's agreement talks. It's difficult to say whether Brant's cameo in the follow-up drama was the best Breaking Bad cameo, but it was unquestionably the most dramatic one. No other character's returns had anything like to the impact of Marie's heartbreaking conversation with an increasingly vengeful Jimmy. Because of how chaotic and dangerous the final episodes of Breaking Bad were, viewers were never able to experience Marie's sorrow over Hank's death. Which has the better ending, Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad? This is the topic that many fans will start addressing, and we already see plenty of media outlets doing so. However, we believe that it is an unjust question. Better Call Saul cannot be fully appreciated if it is watched without first seeing Breaking Bad, particularly considering how some of the plots involving minor characters are developed and resolved over both shows. That's what I mean when I say that the tale being conveyed in this episode is ultimately the same. It's really odd for a prequel story for me to no longer be able to fathom one without the other. Although they are two pieces of the same cake, along with a tiny slice that was the El Camino movie, we truly wouldn't want to choose between them. Overall, even though it's undoubtedly a matter of opinion, we believe the entire cake to be the best cake ever made. Before something consistently possesses this quality once more, it will be a very long time. Do you remember back in Better Call Saul Season 1 when fans were debating whether this show was even needed? Whether it would actually diminish the story of Breaking Bad? All we can say now is, how wrong we were. How is Better Call Saul's finale for you? Is there another show with this much information and two flawless endings? As always, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and smash that notification bell for more episodes.